Alphonse Daudet, the Arlesian. Step by step, page by page, to the light within yourself. Every love story leaves a mark on the heart. Today I am going to read for you Alphonse Daudet's L'Arlesian, a touching story about hope, dreams, and how sometimes the brightest feelings bring us sadness. Let's discover this tender story together. It's a pity that not every love story ends with a smile. To go down from my mill to the village, you have to pass a farm built by the road, in the back of a large yard lined with elms. It's a real Provençal farm, red tiles, a wide brown facade with jagged gaps between the windows, and a weather vane at the top, a block for lifting haystacks to the hayloft, and a few armfuls of browned hay sticking out of it. Why did this house strike me so much? Why did the sight of these closed gates make my heart shrink? I can't say, but nevertheless, the whole house breathed cold. It was too quiet around. Dogs did not bark at passers-by, guinea fowl ran away without screaming. There was no human voice inside. Silence. Even the mule did not ring bells. If there were no white curtains on the windows and smoke over the roof, one would think that the house was uninhabited. Yesterday, just at noon, I was returning from the village and, in order not to walk in the sun, I made my way to the very fence in the shade of the trees. On the street in front of the house, workers in silence were putting hay on a cart. The gates were open. As I passed, I looked into the courtyard and saw a tall, white old man in a short jacket that was too tall for my height and in torn trousers. He sat at a large stone table, propping his head on his hands. I stopped. One of the workers said to me in a whisper, "See you. This is the owner. He has been like this since trouble befell his son." At that moment a woman and a boy, dressed all in black, with large gold-embossed prayer books, passed us and disappeared into the farm. The employee added, "The hostess and the younger one have come from church from Mass. They go there every day since the eldest son committed suicide. Ah, sir, what grief. My father still wears the clothes of the deceased. He does not want to part with them. But dear." The cart started moving. I wanted to listen to the story to the end, and I asked to get on the cart, and there, lying on the hay, I learned this amazing story. His name was Jean. He was a wonderful 20-year-old peasant boy, modest as a girl, strong, with an open face. And the women looked at him, but he had only one in mind, a pretty Arlesian woman, all in velvet and lace, whom he had met by chance at the Alls amphitheater. At first, the family did not sympathize with this marriage. The girl was known as an anemone, and her parents were not from here. But Jean longed with all the strength of his soul for his Arlesian. He said, "I'll die if I don't let me marry her." There is nothing to be done. It was decided to celebrate the wedding after the harvest. And then one Sunday evening the family was finishing dinner in the yard of the farm. The dinner was almost like a wedding. True, there was no bride, but they drank to her health repeatedly. Then a man came up to the gate and said in a trembling voice that he wanted to talk to the owner Esteve alone. Esteve got up and went outside. "Master," said the man, "you are going to marry your son to a scoundrel. I have been her lover for 2 years. Since I speak, it means that I can prove it. Here are the letters. My parents know everything and promised to give her in marriage to me, but since your son has been wooing her, neither they nor the beauty herself want to know me anymore. And in my opinion, it turns out like this. After what has happened, she cannot be the wife of another." "All right," said Master Esteve, after looking at the letters, "come in and have a glass of nutmeg." The man answered, "Thank you. I am tormented not by thirst, but by grief." And he left. Father returned as if nothing had happened, sat down at the table, and dinner ended as merrily as before. That evening Uncle Esteve went to the fields with his son. For a long time they did not return home. When they arrived, their mother was still waiting for them. "Wife," said the landlord, leading his son to her, "caress him, he is in trouble." Jean spoke no more of the Arlesian, but he loved her as much and even more intensely, since he knew that she was held in the arms of another. Only he was too proud and silent. That was what ruined him, poor fellow. Sometimes he huddled in a corner for the whole day. Another time he threw himself furiously at work and managed one for 10. In the evenings, he went out onto the Alls road and walked until the slender city bell towers loomed against the sunset. Then he returned. He never went further. Seeing him always sad and lonely, his family did not know what to do. They were afraid that some misfortune would happen. One day at the table, his mother, looking at him with eyes full of tears, said, "Listen, Jean, if you still yearn for her, we agree to marry you." His father, red with shame, lowered his head. Jean shook his head and went out. From that day on, he changed his way of life, all the time pretending to be cheerful in order to calm his parents. He began to appear again at dances, in the tavern, at holidays. In the elections in Fontville, he led the farandole. My father said, "I have recovered." But the mother was still in fear and watched her son more than before. Jean slept with his younger brother near the closet where silkworms were bred. The poor old woman made herself a bed near their bedroom. She said she might need to look after the worms at night. The day of Saint Eligius, the patron saint of farmers, came. There was a feast on the farm. Everyone was presented with a chateauneuf, and simple wine flowed like a river. Then there were fireworks, bonfires on the threshing floor, colored lanterns on all the elms. Glory to Saint Eligius. Farandula danced until they dropped. The younger one burned his new blouse. Even Jean seemed pleased. He begged his mother to take part in the dances. The poor woman was crying with joy. We went to bed at midnight. Everyone needed to get enough sleep. But Jean was awake. His brother later said that he cried all night. Yes, believe me, it touched him to the core. In the morning, just before daylight, the mother heard someone running across the bedroom. She was pricked as if she had been pricked. "Jean, is that you?" Jean did not answer. He was already on the stairs. Mother jumped up in an instant. "Jean, where are you going?" He goes up to the attic. She follows him. "Son, for God's sake." He slams the door shut and pulls the bolt shut. "Jean, my son, Jeanette, answer me. What are you up to?" Groping, with her old trembling hands, she is looking for a latch. The sound of the window opening, the noise of the body falling on the slabs of the yard, and that's it. He decided, poor fellow, I love her too much. I'll go. Ah, we are miserable people. What does it look like if contempt cannot kill love? That morning, the people in the village wondered who was crying so bitterly in the direction where the Esteve farm was. In the courtyard, at a stone table, wet with dew and blood, a mother was killing herself over her dead son, jumping out of bed in what she was wearing.